They get away this time. Voss it was that got a better start. Hingson's not running well. Blondel of France has gone past him. This is not a good run for Hinkson. Torsten Voss has got away. Plezé is second. Blondel, then Hinkson. But it was a fast time. Now, that's Torsten Voss gains. He's around his best. He's scored about 960 points. But Hinkson there, with a favourable wind of plus 2.5 metres, and that's legal for the decathlon record. I reckon he was around 10.7, 10.8. The winner did 10.53 and scored 968 points. But these gaps are growing as Torsten Voss runs a fine 100 metres, gets a very good score. Blondel of France and Plezé of France are ahead of Hinkson. Hinkson throwing himself at the line, but that's about 10.8, 10.9, and I don't think that's the best start that he could have hoped for. Hinkson was slow to rise. He's very tall, of course. He's better over hurdles, which is the first event on the second day. He's a good 400-metre runner, but at that height of 6'7", difficult to get into his running. He's flowing nicely now, but already Torsten Voss is well away and putting him under strain. And he really is fighting for the line. And I don't think he will have regarded that as the best possible start he could have had. He's fit and well and strong, but he would have liked to have been a little sharper. Well, a pensive and moody-looking Daley Thompson, but secretly his heart must be thumping because the weather is good, the wind is favourable, and he's just seen Jürgen Hinkson clock 10.87. That's 890 points, but probably he didn't even watch. The most critical thing about this West German challenge, and there are three of them, remember, is that they can motivate him to a marvellous score.
Well, Daley's line up, Degyarov of the Soviet Union on the inside, then Kratchmer, former world record holder, in lane 3, Freemuth of East Germany, then Daley Thompson of Great Britain, Sigi Wentz of the Federal Republic of Germany, and Petchev of the Soviet Union on the left. Conditions very good indeed. Little flinch from Daley there, but he's got a very good start indeed. Kratchmer on the inside, chasing him hard. Thompson way out ahead of the rest of the field. The margin is good. 10.27, a personal best in any decathlon, and what a time to do it. He was so pleased with his 10.37 in the Commonwealth Games, and now 10.27, and I tell you the wind speed is 2 meters per second, and that makes it a legal best performance. What a marvellous start.
I can also tell you it's worth 1,030 points, that Hinkson scored 890 points, and the greatest athlete we've ever produced in the world has now got an advantage of 140 points with a lifetime best in his first event.
And the man chasing him is one of his main rivals, who has a best of 10.54, and look at the margin of difference between them. What a start. Who could have expected that? Perhaps Daley Thompson expected it. He gets away from the blocks. Look at the powerful use of the arms. He's on his toes. He's already competing against the clock. The rest are already out of the race.
And it's not just what he does in terms of points, it's what he's done to Kratchmer on his left and Sigi Wentz on his right. That was a morale booster for Daley Thompson. It must have been shattering for the West Germans. Well, the crowd come alive again. Jürgen Hinkson, who may have been a bit disappointing in his 100 metres, but in his last long jump attempt, he was over 8 metres, but got a red flag. Listen to the roar again. He's bang on the board, and it's a good jump. That's near 8 metres, and he's in business, is the big fella. We've rarely seen Daley Thompson under threat in this particular discipline, but they're rising to the West German giant Jürgen Hinkson. And he's closed much of the gap with the longest jump in the competition so far, 7.89. That's 1,033 points. And Daley Thompson has one jump to come, and he'd love to have one like this, and he's quite capable of it. But he is a superb jumper, Hinkson, and he emphasises that there. 7.89. Well, the third and final jump for Daley, and he really needs a big jump now. He's the best jumper here, but Hinkson's well ahead of him, Voss is well ahead of him, and he says he needs Hinkson before he can jump 8 metres. Well, he's on the rack now. Oh, it's a fine jump. It's not as far as he could jump, but he's put a few extra vital centimetres on, and again he was behind the board. That's why he's shaking his head. If ever there was a day he could have jumped well over 8 metres, it was today. He's lost, what, 15 centimetres there, and he'll be disappointed in that. The preparation looks so good. He climbs high, he's running well, but he's just lost it on the board. But it's 7 metres 72. It's a further gain, 990 points. But of course, he's seen Hinkson score 1,033 and Voss 1,022.
Oh, what a big cheer for Jürgen Hinkson. Because really, there is a prospect that if he puts up to his normal standard, then he could be ahead of Thompson after 3 events, and that hasn't happened before. So his first put. Oh, and that's very big. It's well over 16 metres. So Hinkson acknowledges the support. His personal best is, what, 16 and a half, 16.57. But for a man of 6'7" with long levers, we've often criticised him in the past for not punching the shot out further. But that was good. And the prospect is that if Daley... Oh, 16.29. 869 points. And as I was about to say, if Daley throws around 15 and a half, then the metre difference will make a difference of about 62 points. So Hinkson will be aware of that. In warm-up, well over 15 metres. But can he put it into the competition? And that's just short of 16, and the answer is yes, and the British support recognise a very good performance indeed. At the back of the circle, very low, but he really does have an active right leg now, and he kept the left side down just long enough, and 15 metres and 73. Now that's just what was required. 835 points, and the little wave signals his delight with 2 throws to go. Well, the little smile as his opponent goes into the circle. Neither Thompson nor Hinkson bettered their first round throws in the second round. The West German coaches hoping that their man can throw well beyond 16 metres on this final occasion. Third and final putt. Oh, and it is, I think. It's much further. And I reckon that the advantage that Daley has over Hinkson before this putt was, what, about 60 points, 65 points. But that will have come down a little bit there. 16 metres and 46. It's his best throw. And it's very close to his personal best. It's worth 880 points. Now Daley. Best 15.73. Just on the 15-metre line in the second round. Stepping out to give that no put. And now a final chance to make back some of the deficit. And it's over 15 and a half, but it's nowhere near the 16-metre line. He did his best, he punched at it, worked hard to get his legs active. But once again, Hinkson has whittled away. 15.49, so it's his first round putt that he must rely upon.
His lead, he's on 2.857, Hinkson on 2.803, 54 points back, and he can get them all in the high jump, so he needs this one. Oh, he was flat and bad, and that's 2 bad or disappointing events for him on the first day. His long jump, and the only reason it was bad was because he failed to hit the ball. He was jumping very well, and he's had 2 near misses and 1 bad miss, because that's a bad miss, there's no doubt. He was dead on that. And now he's got to sit and watch whilst the West Germans take away the points lead that he's gained with a superb sprint in the 100 meters. But of course, he can get a lot of them back on that 400 meters, and he needs to do that because he's down on his world record, and now he's going to be down on Hinkson and Voss and possibly Wentz as well, and that is most unusual. Indeed, extraordinary.
Well, that Hinkson jump we promised you, here it is. Oh, and he's clear. He's ahead. He's ahead of Daley Thompson by 2 points now by virtue of that clearance, with the 400 meters to go on the first day. And Hinkson is a strong second day man. 2:06, he's clear, and Daley Thompson in a little bit of trouble.
Everything they gain now on Daley Thompson will become crucial, but don't give up on the lad. He's the best fighter we've got, and he will have a tremendous 400 meters against this phalanx of West Germans. But this fella's equipped for the job. There's Torsten Voss, who sprinted so well. He was the second best sprinter this morning, the second best long jumper, and here he is at 2:09. No one clear yet, but what a roar there'll be if Hinkson goes clear, and he's done this. In fact, he's done 2:12. 2:09, if he makes it, is worth 887 points. And remember, the 2 meters 803, so 84 points advantage in one discipline he can gain with this jump over Daley Thompson. Hinkson, who only finished third in the German championships, started the season modestly, but has really responded to the crowd, and I think Daley Thompson knew this would happen. They're all behind him, massive crowd, they love this event, and he's ahead of Daley Thompson for the first time in 7 competitions, head-to-head. And he's further ahead. He's further ahead. He's having a very, very good first day, Hinkson. First time clearance at 2:09, and there may be some more to come. He long jumped brilliantly, and he's now high jumping brilliantly. So he takes the lead. By how many?
By 30. It goes to 3,690. Vladislav Kozakajevic, the former world record holder and Olympic pole vault champion, just having a chat with him as we watch this recording. He takes off an awful long way away from the bar, but his technique very sound indeed. And remember, when he's 6'7" tall, he has a tremendous advantage in this event. And there you see the progress overall. First time at 2:06, first time at 2:09.
And this man will get another tremendous cheer if he goes clear. And he does. Local boy makes good. And the West Germans having a field day in the decathlon. 2 men clear at 2:09, the only 2 men clear. But remember, Daley Thompson will be getting himself ready for the 400 meters. In fact, Plaisier of France has gone clear in the high jump. He's not a serious threat, but this man is. He's a threat for one of the medals. And if you put the East and West German teams together, you can imagine their strength and why this is their particular favorite event. Voss is the 4th man clear. And all these men gaining points on the man who started the overall leader when this event started, Daley Thompson. So Hinkson knows that anything more he can gain here means it will be less exhausting and less embarrassing over the 400 meters. He's pretty close to Daley Thompson on that. So he could finish day 1 on a very high score indeed. Certainly his best ever, and remember, he's the past world record holder. 2:12. He's gone clear. What a day he's having. What a day he is having. Now, to have a lifetime best just at that crucial moment is the mark of a very, very well-disciplined athlete who's on a high. And he was always likely to be on a high with this crowd support. But there are warning signals out that this is going to be tough. It's certainly not going to be the joyride that many of us thought that Daley Thompson would be on. He's far from losing it, that's for sure, but at the same time, these two West Germans have every right to feel delighted.
Well, delighted he is, because 58 points is advantage now. I make his total 3,718. Plaziak, he's in 6th place overall, with 2,570 points after the first 3 disciplines. Ran 10.84 in the 100 metres, 7 metres and 36 in the long jump, and through the shot 14 metres and 73. And he's gone clear at 2 metres and 12. Well, I have to say that this is one of the finest, if not the finest, decathlon high jump I've ever seen. It's certainly the most competitive, and these athletes competing against each other well as against the bar. There he is, second attempt, but it doesn't matter about those crosses, it's the points that matter. And the points tally for that, just to remind you, is 915 points.
Looked very impressive on both his 100 metres and his long jump this morning. He's not a heavyweight, so his shot let him down a little bit, but here he is, he's bounced all the way back with a remarkable piece of high jumping. It's a balanced affair, the decathlon. Effort spread over 2 whole days. And some of that balance will come back Daley's way. But the West German crowd getting very much behind the East German. That's interesting. No, but it's still been a fine high jump for him. And up will go the bar.
Plaziat, the Frenchman, he's doing well too. Second attempt clearance at 2 metres and 12, and now the first attempt at 2 metres and 15. I think he's moved up certainly a place. And Hinkson, who actually injured himself earlier on, I saw that when he walked out of the pit, he limped, just spraying some cool onto his knee. Yes! 7 feet and half an inch cleared, but more important, those points, 944. A bounding start, he accelerates in, passive arms, a driving inside knee, and that really is a bit special.
Bentz holding centre stage with Hinkson. And Bentz has looked the more likely of the two to make this this height. Missed it by about a metre. But what a good jump it's been for him. Tremendous piece of jumping by the West Germans.
Well, Jürgen Hinkson has chosen not to take further attempts at 2 metres and 15. He's settled for his 2 metres and 12 clearance. He's got a score of 3,718 points after the 4 events. He now waits for the 400 metres, and he'll know that Daley Thompson has been away resting and preparing himself for what has to be the fastest 400 metres race of his life, to pull back the deficit. It's 58 points at the moment, and that's a considerable amount to make up. Hinkson must be pleased. He's done the job when it mattered in front of his home crowd. Daley Thompson preparing for what is the most vital 400 metres of his decathlon life. The situation is quite clear. He's had problems in the long jump and in the high jump, and he's got to make up for those problems right now. 2 metres in the high jump wasn't quite what he expected. He looked better than that, and he will be disappointed, the perfectionist he is. And of course 7 metres and 72 in the long jump from way behind the board, and that lost him valuable points when Jürgen Hingsen went on to jump 7 meters and 89. Hingsen beat him in the shot, he beat him in the high jump with 2 meters and 12. And for the first time, in all of the confrontations between the big two, Daley Thompson is behind. And one additional point, he's not in second, he's in third. Another man in front of him is Voss, the East German, who has an advantage of a mere 2 points. Voss isn't quite the 400-meter man that Thompson is. Wentz and Hingsen just congratulate each other, and this team has done so well. Now, the difference between Hingsen and Thompson in terms of scores is 58 points. Now, looking at the decathlon tables, it means a difference of, say, between 48 seconds for Hingsen and 46.8 for Daley Thompson. Now, when you look at the personal bests, well, Hingsen's a little bit faster than 48 seconds at his best, and Daley has got a best of 46.8. I wonder whether the sort of performance that we saw in the 100 meters right at the very beginning, a personal best, sub 10.3 sprinting, whether he can convert that sort of ability into the one lap. No one has proved himself to be a better competitor than Daley Thompson, and perhaps in the past we've taken him for granted. And there's awesome talent, and when he's just had 2 small slip-ups, it's meant that the pressure's on him. And it's not just here. Tomorrow is the day which he recognises could be Hingsen's day. So the lineup: Daley Thompson, he'll run in lane 2. They're not using the inside lane. Uwe Fremuth, the German Democratic Republic, next to him in lane 3. Siegfried Wentz in 4th place, the other West German in lane 4. Thorsten Voss, the East German, in silver medal position at the moment. He's in lane 5. And then Jürgen Hingsen right on the outside. Thompson, Fremuth, Wentz, Voss, and that's Wentz, Voss, and Hingsen. So, eyes on the clock to see what Daley Thompson can do. He's had a look at Hingsen in the outside lane. Hingsen is the hare. Sub 47 seconds required. Away first time, and Thompson already up on Fremuth. He's charging round the first bend. It's all or nothing for Thompson here, and Hingsen is being overtaken by Voss and by Wentz. Hingsen, the man with no one to run against on the outside. Thompson's already caught them. At 200 meters, the Olympic champion is storming through. He's running beautifully on the inside of the lane. And this is a race against time. Thompson from Wentz and Voss and Fremuth and Hingsen, and the margin is an enormous margin. And can Thompson run a personal best here? He's charging for the line. 47.04, but I wonder what Hingsen's time was. We make it 48.8. 956 points for Daley Thompson, and 48.8 or thereabouts. These are only approximates. 871 points. So that would be a difference of 85 points. But Wentz was closer, but he's in 4th place. Voss was well down, but I reckon that if those times are confirmed, then Thompson could well have regained the lead after that 400 meters. It was quite clear from the start that Thompson meant business. He had the advantage of the echelon. He could see the others outside him, and what he had to do was to run a fast first 200 meters, and that he began to do. He looks relaxed, but he's moving very, very quickly indeed.
I think possibly, Stuart, one of the gravest dangers was with everyone outside him, and he had to overtake them, and his anxiety to do so, that he might blast off too fast. And I think he's fractionally too fast. Of course, he's his own best, severest critic, and when he sees this going through 200 meters, I think he was fractionally too fast, because you'll see the margin that he has over Siggy Vence in particular, the man in the outside lane. That grows and grows, but it suddenly diminishes and diminishes, and Daley Thompson's legs, well, they start to go about 10 meters from the line. He could have broken 47 seconds here, but he lives on a knife edge of perfection all the time. It was a fine, fine run, and he's restored all his faith in all his followers. It was a brave, brave run, but I think you'll see as he approaches the line that he's running out of steam rather faster than Siggy Vence. Hinkson is way back. He's blasted him off the track, but Siggy Vence is the man to worry about as we watch him coming into the home straight here. Watch Vence on the outside. Thompson still holding form. Now watch the legs just slightly begin to go. The knees go out sideways. He's given it his all, as he always does. Now he's struggling. And this is where the huge gap begins to diminish, and he launches himself at the tape, and he's only just outside 47 seconds, and he really does almost collapse at the end of that.
Well, we shall certainly have to wait for the official confirmation, and Hinkson already being interviewed by local television, and one can expect that because he's had his best day ever against Thompson, and it looked as though he might go in after the first day with a lead, but I reckon that if we take those times, and Stan Greenberg's watch is never too far wrong, and 48.8 is the time he got for Hinkson, and so I think the margin of advantage for Daley Thompson could be around about 30 points. So he has done rather well, despite that fast first 200 metres. He gave it his all, and I think he's got the result that he wanted at the end of the first day, despite those two little hiccups.
On day 2 of the decathlon, Daley Thompson's main rivals, in theory, have their strongest events. Daley should have gone to bed last night a lot better off than he was.
But no, I think providing I don't know, I think so anywhere between 70 and 100 points ahead, then I think I can probably sleep fairly soundly.
What would make you not sleep so soundly?
Perhaps if I was 70 or 100 points down, then I don't think I'd sleep at all. I'd be training.
Well, the decathlon is a complicated event. Let me not riddle you with too many statistics, but suffice it to say that if Jürgen Hinkson, Thompson's main rival, were to do personal best performances in today's 5 events, Thompson would have to relinquish his title. That's conjecture. These are the facts.
And there's Daley Thompson on his right, and he's got the giant German Jürgen Hinkson, only 28 points behind him at the end of the first day. He's between the two men who are nearest to him. And what a roar there is in this stadium. And Daley admitted, as there's Freimut, admitted that he did feel that there were 1 or 2 against him yesterday when the German roar was on. So it's Blondell, Vence, Apachiev, Voss, Thompson, Hinkson, Freimut. The favourite to win this particular discipline, Siggy Vence, who is the West German high hurdles champion, not just in the decathlon. And Daley Thompson knows this is the toughest battle of his decathlon life. Vence the favourite in lane 2. Hinkson favoured to be ahead of Thompson, but it's by how much? Away they go, first time. And Thompson gets to the first hurdle first. He's ahead of Hinkson. This is a remarkable hurdle. He's ahead of Vence as well. He's blasting away, and Thompson said there's no way that Hinkson would be ahead of him, and he's got there. That's a remarkable run. That's a lifetime best. When the chips are down, he comes again and again. Don't give up on this fella. Siggy Vence, the West German high hurdles champion. His best time 13.7, Thompson 14.3. Vence should have gained 70 points, and he lost points to the master. 14.05 for Daley Thompson. What a start to the second day, which is going to be as packed with drama as yesterday certainly was. What can Hinkson say about this? What can Vence say about it? As Thompson scores 968 points in an event which he had no right to expect to win. That's the greatest hurt he has ever done, and it has never entered more than that. Well, the big fella must have thought this was where he really puts the evil eye on Thompson. This was the one event where he was expected his yards down. Look at Thompson sprinting at the hurdles. It's guts personified. He really does throw himself at each of the hurdles, and watch him throw himself at the line. And Hinkson under trouble now. He's against the clock, he's hitting the hurdles, and Thompson is away from him, and he knows that Vence is the big threat on the far side. Look at this launch to the line. A superb start to day 2, and this battle is far from over.
Well, a mixed reception from the crowd in this large stadium. Not very generous, some of the spectators. But Daley Thompson's first attempt in the discus, and how much he needs something around 46 meters or more. And that's a flat throw, and it's about 42.5, 43. And Daley, who's 88 points up on Jürgen Hinkson after the high hurdles, the 6th discipline, turns off the back. He's got a throw in, and that's bonus. But now he's got to work to get a little bit closer to 46 meters. And Daley's throw 41 meters and 66. Well, and there Jürgen Hinkson showing real character, apologizing to Daley Thompson on behalf of the crowd here, very much in his favor, of course, and he says, sorry Daley, that's not what I'm about. The crowd once more being incited, but they don't really need to be, because they can see that this is Siggy Vence. Local, of course. And Daley Thompson, as casual as ever. Vence is a 49-meter thrower at his best. He's in bronze medal position at the moment. And that's the best throw so far, and it's about 46. So that will do for the moment. He's got a good throw in. He celebrated afterwards. Turns off the left toe, very short turn, but that's safety. He's safe in the circle, a little bit ungainly at the front, but the end result is quite favourable. 45 meters and 66 centimeters, and that's going to give him 780 points. Well, these really are critical moments indeed for Daley. 41 meters and 66, and the crowd this time cheering and are far more generous to the Olympic champion. 41.66. He's seen Hinkson have the no throw, and his preparations have been going on for some time for his second and critical throw. Oh, it's gone out to the side and hit the netting. Now, one throw left, and this is going to be the most important discus throw of his decathlon life, without doubt. The crowd already applauding the entry of their gladiator. A no throw in the first round of this discus, and it's a bit of a dilemma for Hinkson now, because he knows that he has to get a good throw in, but he mustn't risk a no throw, because to leave it until the last round would make life very difficult indeed. So let's see what he does. Well, that's a better throw, and it's a bigger throw too. It's about 46.5, I would think, 47, and that margin is great enough to take him back into the lead, I would think. That's overall. He's 88 points up, or behind Daley Thompson, I should say, and the difference between the sort of distance that he's thrown there and Daley's 41 meters is big enough. It's 46 meters and 82. He's 5 meters ahead, and I reckon that if you look at the tables now, you'll find that Jürgen Hinkson has gone back into the lead. One throw left, 41 metres and 66. 18 points behind Jürgen Hingsen, who's thrown 46 metres and 82. Hingsen not watching at the moment, and never was it more crucial that Daley Thompson throws this discus to around 45 metres. It's better. It's 43.5 to 44. A sigh of relief. It's about 43.5, I would think. And he's gone back into the lead because he needed to throw 42 metres and 56 to go 1 point ahead of Jürgen Hingsen. He runs off that left foot. It's safe, but only just. And he's got a distance in that is respectable. 43 metres 38, which is 734 points. So he's back in the lead, and Hingsen has to throw again. Well, Hingsen has the good throw in at 46 metres and 82, and having seen the Thompson throw go just that little bit further, he now knows that he's got to find a little bit more before he goes in to the next three disciplines remaining: the pole vault, the javelin, and the 1500 metres to go. It looks good in flight, and it is good, and it could be further. It's about 48, I would think, and Hingsen may well have gone back into the lead on that. We'll work it out for you, and Thompson will already realise that. Just watch him from the back. He's 6'7", long levers, and 48 metres and 42 centimetres. And that really has put the pressure back onto the Olympic champion. 838 points that's worth. And I reckon that he's gone back into the lead. It's 100 points better than Daley Thompson. 104 to be exact in the discus alone. And Daley now knows that he is in second place again. Well, there's the first failure listed against Jürgen Hingsen, and he's going to make his second attempt at 4 metres and 40, and it's worth 731 points to him, and the local crowd willing him over, but his first attempt was a poor one. Now, oh, it was close. He cleared it, but he shook his head as he landed, and he said, well, I made it, but my goodness, that wasn't a good vault at all. He didn't accelerate the pole into the box. He seemed to slow down and paid the penalty. He almost lost his grip on the top of the pole. He's clear, though, and he has 731 points. Lots of support again for Vents in the pole vault. The bar now at 4 metres and 60. It's worth 790 points. Daley Thompson still hasn't come in. He may well choose this height. There he is warming up in the background. He'll choose this as his opening height. Yes. And Vents, who's 69 points behind Jürgen Hingsen, the leader after 7 events, moves a little closer there. Looks very relaxed. Gets a good bend in the pole. A little bit untidy at the top, but it's a good clearance nevertheless. Anticipation as Hingsen goes out for a first attempt at 4 metres 60. He scraped over 440 at the second attempt, and he's now looking for 790 points. I wonder. He was very ragged at the previous height. "15 points ahead of the Olympic champion after 7 events. This the 8th discipline. And he's clear. 790 points in the bank. But the little shake of the head seems to suggest that he's not happy with his technique, and he knows that he's going to have to get very close to 495 meters to put the pressure on to Daley. It was certainly a better vault than at the earlier height, but he's not really getting round before he moves over the bar, and he may have problems at the next height. We shall see. 819 points on offer this time. And quite an excited crowd down at the far end of the stadium. I see Daley, Thompson in the background. He still hasn't come into the vault yet. So Siggy Vents in third place overall after 7 disciplines. Well, he's got 2 more attempts at that height. He certainly looked better than that at the attempt at the previous height. Didn't get that one at all right. Nowhere near it. Final preparations then for Daley as he comes into the vault at 4 meters and 70. If he's successful, he'll claim 819 points. Jürgen Hinkson came in at 4 meters 40, cleared it on his second time. He was a bit of a scrape there. He was better at 460. And now what can Daley do? 819 points on offer. No, he's well under the bar. Hinkson, did you see him look? Hinkson, a quick glance across, a quick glance away. This situation is so competitive. A bit ragged. He does drive into the box, but it all goes wrong, and he pulls out really before he makes the attempt at the bar. So Hinkson's attempt at 4 meters 70. No, it didn't look like it either. The important thing now is that Daley must take advantage of the fact that of all the events, this is the one that seems to be going just that little bit wrong for Jürgen Hinkson. The early clearance at 4 meters 60, well, it was a clearance, but he's not turning, he's not rotating about the shoulders, he's scrambling over the top and failing. But he has got 1 vault in, and he has got 790 points, and Daley's got 2 more vaults left at 4 meters 70 to get a score on the board. Look at that. Very scrappy. And for a man with a personal best in this event, 5 meters and 10, well, it may be a real opportunity for Daley to come back into this decathlon. Well, Siggy Vents, the bar at 4 meters and 70, has had 1 failure at this height and really needs to go clear here. It's worth 819 points. Only 1 man clear at the moment, that's Plaziak of France. He cleared it on his first attempt. Oh yes, and that was a very competent clearance, and 819 points go to the West German, and that's well appreciated. Let's have a look more closely. He's quite tall, and the taller men do have an advantage in the vault, and this time he's very much straighter, and the margin there is a good one. Well, the final preparations, and can Daley get a score on the board? His second attempt at 470. He's chosen this as his opening height. He's seen Vents go clear. Yes! Well, that's a bit of relief. It wasn't a good vault, I have to say that. He pulled away to the side as he went over the bar, but Jürgen Hinkson now knows that he's got a battle on his hands. Well, Hinkson now, his second attempt at 470. No. And the advantage with Thompson now. 2 failures then against the leader after 7 events. Jürgen Hingsen in a little bit of bother. He already has 7,125 points overall, 8 events, taking his clearance at 4.60 m into account. But he'll need a little bit more than that, I fancy, here to maintain his advantage over Daley Thompson. Well, as you see now, the umbrellas have been raised and the bar at 4.70 m. Pole vaulting conditions deteriorating, and when Hingsen now has a 3rd attempt at 4.70 m, his total at present stands at 7,125. He's 14 points now behind Daley Thompson, unless he goes clear here. But the conditions for Daley to progress to greater heights, very difficult indeed. And that may be a deciding factor. We'll wait and see. Third and final attempt. Jürgen Hingsen, 4.70 m. He's gone. And that is the first, what I would consider, failure in every sense of the word for the big West German. He didn't look comfortable early on, and the little shake of the head there confirms that. And he's gone out with 7,125 points, and Daley now has 7,139, a 14-point advantage. Now, can he build on it? Well, Wentz's 2nd attempt at 4.80 m. Oh, yes. Oh, that was good. 849 points to his credit. And Wentz moves forward. And Daley in the background has opted out at this height. He'll come in at the next height. Risky, but we'll see. But what a prospect for Siggy Wentz. He's got a clearance at 4.80 m, and if he clears at 4.90 m, he moves ahead of Jürgen Hingsen and goes into 2nd place. He'll be 21 points ahead of Hingsen if he clears this. Hingsen already out with a 4.60 m clearance. Oh, he's done it! And Wentz now lays down the gauntlet. Wentz is a very fine javelin thrower, and he's a fine 1,500-meter runner too. So it's a little bit ominous that he now is closing in. It was a very, very good vault. And his overall total now moves to 7,146. To Jürgen Hingsen's 7,125. Now, Daley Thompson, who passed at the previous height, knows that this man has caused him a little bit of a problem in these wet conditions. 1st attempt clearance, and how Daley would love to do the same. Still some humour out there, despite this being the finest competition we've ever seen in a decathlon. Well, Siggy Wentz has now moved into the lead overall, but that can change if Daley can go clear at 4.90 m. It's his 1st attempt. Oh! And we said if he could go clear. That was an aggressive and constructive piece of vaulting. And he now got back to a total of 7,200 points. He's 54 points ahead of Wentz. And Wentz is 21 points ahead of Hingsen. What a competition we've got, but look at the clearance. That's an incredible clearance. The Olympic champion is vaulting well now. He missed out at 4.80 m, and now look at the way he attacks. Good bend in the pole, and that's as fine a clearance as we've seen today. Vence, bronze medalist in the World Championships in 1983, bronze medalist in the Olympic Games with the local support. His first attempt at 5 meters, worth 910 points. And if he succeeds here, then his margin beyond Jürgen Hingsen will stretch to 51 points. Well, Daley, 5 meters and worth 910 points. That happened early on in the event, so let's not worry too much yet. He's got 2 more attempts at this height. Third attempt at 5 meters for Siggy Vence. Bronze medal in the World Championships, bronze in the Olympic Games in Los Angeles. And with a good javelin and a good 1,500 meters to come, in addition to a clearance here at 5 meters, well, who knows? Last attempt. No. So Vence has a 490 clearance. He has a total of 7,146 points. He's 54 points behind Daley, who has 7,200, and he's 21 points ahead of teammate Jürgen Hingsen. A real chance then for Daley. Everyone else has gone. He has a chance to take his personal total to 7,230 points with an advantage of 84 over Siggy Vence. If he can clear 5 meters on this, his third and final attempt. Yes! Oh, what a vault when it mattered. He's had his problems in this decathlon, but there is perhaps a gold medal saving vault. He really went for that. His previous attempt was speculative, to say the least, but this wasn't. So positive. And there's more to come, and as the crowd look up at the scoreboard and see that, the oohs are heard around this stadium. 5 meters and 10 is the new height. It's worth 941 points and is equivalent, if Daley is successful, to an overall total of 7,261. First attempt. He hit the bar, as you saw, but it wavered, it jumped, it stayed on, and then it rolled off. He's looking confident out there at the moment. He's assessed the situation well. And he's got 2 more attempts, and it looks good. 1 failure at 5 meters and 10. It's worth 941 points. He's already 84 points ahead of Siggy Vence. And can he extend it further? If he does, then he will have an advantage of, what, 115 points. A clearance here. Very useful, yes! 5 meters and 10, he's clear. And he moves 115 points ahead of Siggy Vence. The Olympic champion showing a real competitive ability here. He's competing now against the tape measure. And look at that, so straight. And technically, when he sees the recording of this, he'll be very pleased, I'm sure. It's a very determined look we see here on the face of the reigning European champion, the reigning Olympic champion. 5 meters and 20, the bar, 972 points on offer, his second attempt. Well, one chance left. Well, I've never seen Daley look quite so determined as he does here with the pole vault bar at 5 meters and 20. He's had 2 failures, and if he could go clear, he would be 146 points ahead of Siggy Vence. No, so he's still acquitted himself well. A clearance at 5 meters and 10. He's never vaulted better in a decathlon. And the nods in the crowd appreciating a fine performance. 7,261 points then is total after the pole vault, the 8th discipline, is 115 points up on Siggy Vence. That's a nice little buffer, but will it be enough? The javelin to come, the 1,500 meters to come. But he gave this everything. You can't fault him here. His personal best is 5 meters and 25, and that's outside of a decathlon. And the failure, well, he's got the margin, but will it be enough is the question. Thorsten Voss of East Germany, his final attempt at 5 meters and 20, and the prospect for him that if he can go clear, he moves from 4th place into 3rd ahead of Jürgen Hingsen. No, he's 4th, and the pole vault is completed. So Daley Thompson, 7,261 points. He leads. Siggy Vence, 7,146, 115 behind. He's in silver medal position. And Jürgen Hingsen, 7,125. He's in 3rd. And Voss, 7,110. He's in 4th.
And that's Hingsen's big opening throw, and it is a good opening throw too, of 53 meters or thereabouts. And I hope that's a white flag. We can see the 6'7" West German, who's in 3rd place. Remember, he's been overtaken by Siggy Vence. And that looks about 53 meters. Maybe it's 64 meters. Those lines are most disconcerting. Now that, I do beg your pardon, 64 meters, there are the discus lines are still out, and that's a 64-meter 38 throw. Daley Thompson about to take his first round throw in the javelin. He's seen Hingsen throw 64-38, which is absolutely close to his best. That's about Daley's best with this new javelin as well. He's got to keep him very close, although Vence, of course, is now the big threat. It's a nice throw. It's going well, going well. Oh, that's about 62, 63 meters. It's a very, very good response from Daley Thompson to Hingsen's throw. For an opening throw, he bounces into this, gets a good pull. And that is 62 meters and 78 and collects him 780 points and keeps the gap as a narrow one.
Well, now Siggy Vence in the decathlon.
And there's a roar from 70,000 people. A chant and the clapping. He's the big man in this event. He's lying second to Daley Thompson at the moment. Daley Thompson, 62.78. It's a fine throw. And it's 65 meters. That's all right. It's still going to mean the run of the life for Daley Thompson. But these Germans here were hoping for something like 70 meters. The 6'4.5" local man, center stage as this decathlon nears its climax. Third and final javelin throw, 9th discipline, Hinkson. Has he the sort of stuff that heroes are made of? He's certainly a tremendous decathlete. Oh, you can hear the groan, that tells you what it is. It's out of the sector. What a face. What a decathlon. What drama. Well, the master just prowling about and disappearing, trying to keep out of the rain. But Eugene Gilkes finishing with a real flourish there over the 1,500 meters. He's a 15-stone lad, and to do 4:20 was quite remarkable. Quite remarkable. If Daley Thompson could do that, well, he's got yet another gold medal. But in fairness, let it be said, his quote is the best of them all when he said, those West German boys had a great day yesterday. And they've put him under the cosh and under the whip all day today as well. And as fortunes fluctuated, he's never been on the rack in a 1,500 meters as he is here. And it's impossible to say just how fast he's got to run because the points vary for the various speeds in which they run. But Daley Thompson ran 4:39 in Edinburgh to win that Commonwealth title, his third. He ran 4:35 in Los Angeles. Neither of those will be good enough tonight. Siggy Vence has run 4:20. Now imagine knocking 5 seconds off each of the 3 3/4 laps, as it were, and he's got to run and dig deep into his resources, deeper than he's ever done before. But he has said himself that he'll run whatever it takes. And so, for the first time, we may see Daley Thompson fully stretched at 1,500 meters. Fantastic racing prospect. There are 70,000 rain-soaked people. It's been a remarkable day of track and fields. And there's the lineup. Thompson, Vence, Hinkson, Voss. The 1, 2, 3, and 4. There they are. They go in that order. Plaisir, France. Freimut of East Germany. Apachev, the only Soviet in there. Blondel, the second Frenchman. The French have done well. They've got 2 men over 8,000 points. Daley Thompson has shared the company of Eugene Gilkes when they've been in the same pool, and that's been an encouragement. But apart from that, there's been a real atmosphere. The camaraderie has been better than ever. There's certainly not any bitterness between him and the West Germans. If there's any rancor at all, I suppose the needle man with him, it's never really been the big fella, Hinkson. It's been Siggy Vence. There he is, prowling tall and dark. They both tower over Daley Thompson. But the atmosphere in this decathlon has been tremendous, electric, exciting at times, but always good-humoured and in a good atmosphere. Wouldn't you agree, Stuart?
Yes, I would. I think it's been the finest decathlon competition that I've had the privilege to watch, certainly. And Daley Thompson has showed great character throughout, particularly after running 10.26 in the 100 meters, the first event of the first day, and then to go over to the long jump pit and to jump only 7 meters and 72. And I say only because Daley is an 8-meter jumper. And then it happened again in the second day. After a high hurdles personal best of 14.04, he then struggled once more with that discus event at 43.38. But the turning point, as far as Jürgen Hinkson and Daley Thompson's confrontation was concerned, came in the pole vault. Hinkson went out at 4 meters and 60, and Daley went on to clear 5 meters and 10. And that was the time when perhaps the doubt, as far as most of us are concerned, started to dissipate. And Daley looked once again as though he was on course for a gold medal. But interestingly, though, Ron, we did say that it would probably be Siggy Vence who was the man to be closest to him as we came to this 10th discipline, and so it is. And the margin's only 77 points, whereas Hinkson is 112 points behind, and that's an awful long way.
Now, how to put that in layman's language as far as this 1,500 meters is concerned? Well, the simplest thing we can say is take a look at Siggy Vence, and Daley Thompson has got to stick to him like glue and be within 50 yards of him at the finish. And that means, raising his game. Look at the difference between Daley Thompson and Jürgen Hinkson. 6'7". There are times when he looks like 9'6", I'm sure. But this crowd had to be appealed to give the Olympic champion and world record holder a sporting chance when their enthusiasm spilled over and they were only cheering the Germans and they were rather hissing and booing. And the first guy to go over and recognize that was Jürgen Hinkson, who apologized to Daley Thompson for the partisanship of the crowd. That's Hinkson, and he's quite an athlete and quite a gent. So too is the medical student, Siggy Wentz, getting the crowd behind him because he's the local man. He's from Rothenburg, he's 26 years of age. And so the stage is set for what will be a remarkable 1,500 meters. 50 yards, remember, is my estimation of what he's got to do within the back. There's Thurston Voss as the gun goes. Teeming with rain, the event which Daley Thompson loathes. But don't believe that he'll give up on it, because if it's a test of character, he's got the sort of character that will go out and train for this event on Christmas Day when it's raining buckets and everyone else is around the fire. Hinkson is the lead-off man. Wentz is moving from fourth to third. Daley's not going exactly with them, but he knows that Wentz is the man he's got to stick to. Wentz has run 4:20. It's 10 years since Daley's run 4:20. 4:39 is the sort of speed he wants to keep at. Somehow or other, they'll try and open up the gap. And Daley's not closing that gap at the moment, but he knows better than anyone what he has to do.
Well, no one knows better than Wentz the margin that he has to beat Daley Thompson by. And I noticed just as they started, he clicked his own personal stopwatch. He's got his wristwatch there, and he will know exactly what pace he's running at. They're not used to running these distances, really, and the stopwatch may well be required. But Daley, about, 15 yards back, 15 meters back from the pace at the moment.
67.5 for the first 400 meters. And it's about 4:12 pace, and that's why Daley's hanging back. In case you think he's bottling it, believe me, he's not. He has his own individual stopwatch. He knows that Wentz can't run at 4:12, and he's got that gap at 30 meters. He's got to stay there and not blow a fuse. Hinkson, well, he can allow him to move up to about 100 yards. But it really is between Wentz in third place and Daley Thompson in sixth place. And this is drama unfolding as the 10th discipline is well and truly underway. That gap slowly growing, but it's only 25 of the 50 meters that we dread. Don't give up on this fella. The gap is only 3 seconds. Daley Thompson now 28, born in Notting Hill Gate. 13 years ago, he won the European Junior title. He beat Hinkson then, and he's beaten him ever since then. 2:20 at 800 meters. In 1976, Daley Thompson celebrated his 18th birthday in Montreal, watching Bruce Jenner. And he's closing on Siggy Wentz. He's keeping it down. He's keeping it down. And he'll go past the Russian. He's going to keep Siggy Wentz locked in his view. For all those that said he didn't have the bottle for 1,500 meters, he's still doing enough, and he's closed on Wentz, and Wentz can do nothing about it. If anything, the scene is set for a remarkable victory for Daley Thompson, because if he has his own way, he'll go ahead of him in front of his own crowd. And he's going to do just that. The man who lives on adrenaline. 400 meters to go, and Wentz has now got to run behind the champion. There were moments of doubt spread over the last 48 hours, but none in the mind of Daley Thompson, who said, the decathlon starts for me tomorrow. A remarkable pole vault brought him back. He held him on the javelin. He lost out on the discus. But he said, I will do what it takes. And he's doing just that. And what a sprint he's putting on. He's left Wentz for dead. He's going after Hinkson now. And let there be no one in any doubt in this stadium as to who is the supreme competitor over the decathlon. Daley Thompson raises his game. What are they going to say? What's Fleet Street going to say about this? There he is, running the 1,500 metres of his life because his title depends upon it. And there he is, running to gold yet again. 4:26. He's run 13 seconds faster than he ran in the Commonwealth. 7 seconds faster than when he was an Olympic champion. They were falling on the ground then. He's standing tall now. These are the men in his wake. Ziggy Vence, the first to go over to congratulate the champion. 4 world records in his time, 2 junior world records. The whole of Newham and Essex Beagles will be cheering. Farney Close School will be cheering. Notting Hill Gate will be cheering. And all those youngsters that have taken up this event because they think that this is the greatest champion they've ever seen, they'll be cheering too. This was a remarkable victory for Francis Daley Thompson.
Well, the crowd acknowledging Ziggy Vence. And we watched the way that Jürgen Hingsen ran that 1,500 metres. What he was doing was trying to pull back the deficit. He was fighting to be #1 in West Germany, and Daley Thompson was surging forward for the gold. He really is a true champion, and every single one of those decathletes has congratulated him now. There were moments of doubt. We all had moments of doubt. But at the end, he came through as true champions come through.
And guess what? He's got a new T-shirt. He's been carrying one that says, takes care of the business, but it's in German now. That's his business, the decathlon, in case there's any doubt. You're dead right. Where else would you put him? Boris Becker, Bernhard Langer, Daley Thompson, champions in Germany. And hats off to those West Germans. Jürgen Hingsen and Ziggy Vence. Mickey McFarlane there, Linford Christie. He is certainly their champion. They don't come any tougher than this. And Greg Richards, his training partner, his great mucker and friend, who's with him in rain and sleet and snow and hail. And I just wonder, I wonder what Fleet Street's going to say, because they don't always champion his cause. They're often critical of the way he behaves. But listen, these fellas think he's pretty special.
And he is twice Olympic champion, twice European champion, 3 times Commonwealth champion, and now world champion. And what a marvellous, marvellous performance it was. The European Championship is his. But what an array of medals he has now.
Quite unique, of course, in British track and field. And one doubts whether it'll ever be matched. Boris, Bernhard and Daley is the message on the back. The message on the front reads, the 3 most loved sons of Germany. This was the time they thought they might have had him. But he is a truly remarkable character. Doesn't get everything right all of the time. But his business is the decathlon. and he certainly gets that right all of the time. Blondell goes over to congratulate him, the young Frenchman. And this has turned out to be a much more sporting crowd than we anticipated at the end of the first day. They've given him a real hero's welcome here in Stuttgart. Eugene, his club mate, waited to congratulate him. Well done, Daley Thompson.
Und nun ist es soweit, liebe Zuschauer, Siegerehrung, Zehnkampf. Europameister 1986.
European Champion 1986.
Champion d'Europe 1986.
Daley Thompson, Großbritannien.
Well, at last the reception he richly deserves. Daley, European champion, greeted by the British in this crowd.
811 points.
8811 points.
Zweiter.
Second.
Deuxième.
Jürgen Hinksen, Bundesrepublik Deutschland.
And once again, for the 8th time, Jürgen Hinksen takes the silver medal.
8.730 Punkte.
8,730 points.
8730 points.
Dritter.
Third.
Troisième.
Siegfried Wenz, Bundesrepublik Deutschland.
Marvellous support for Siggy Vence. Bronze for him. Such camaraderie. Marvellous scenes. It was a battle, a real battle. I'm ready.